What if the secret to successful relationships has been in front of us all along? Jesus, the greatest teacher of all time, didn't just tell us how to live, he showed us. His life is a masterclass in building meaningful, lasting connections with others. Whether it's your spouse, friends, family, or even strangers, the lessons Jesus taught can transform the way you relate to those around you. Stick around, because today we're diving into 10 powerful lessons from Jesus that will help you build successful relationships. And at the end, I'll share the lesson that has impacted me the most. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our community of faith. Let's get started. 1. Lead with love. Jesus said in John 13:34, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." Love was the foundation of everything Jesus did. His love was selfless, sacrificial, and unconditional. He didn't just preach love. He demonstrated it through action, healing the sick, feeding the hungry, and ultimately giving his life for us. To build successful relationships, we need to lead with that same kind of love. A love that seeks to give, not just receive. Imagine what your relationships would look like if they were built on the foundation of Christ-like love. It's not always easy, but it's the only way to truly connect and grow with others in a meaningful way. 2. Practice forgiveness. One of the most profound lessons Jesus taught was forgiveness. In Matthew 18:21-22, Jesus tells Peter to forgive not 7 times, but 77 times. This doesn't mean keeping count, it means making forgiveness a lifestyle. Holding on to grudges poisons relationships, while forgiveness heals and restores them. Forgiveness is not about ignoring the pain, but about releasing it to God and allowing His grace to bring healing. Remember, Jesus forgave even those who crucified Him, saying, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. If He can forgive such great offenses, we can forgive those who hurt us. When you forgive, you free not only the other person, but also yourself from the burden of bitterness. 3. Value humility over pride. Jesus modeled humility throughout His life. Philippians 2:5-8 reminds us that He, being in very nature God, humbled Himself to the point of death on a cross. Think about that. God Himself chose to serve others, to wash feet, and to die for humanity's sins. Pride destroys relationships, creating walls of misunderstanding and selfishness, but humility builds them by fostering openness and trust. It allows us to listen, admit when we're wrong, and put others' needs above our own. Humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. In your relationships, choose humility over pride, just as Jesus did, and watch how it transforms your connections with others. Take a moment to reflect on what you've heard so far. Are there areas in your relationships where forgiveness, humility, or truth in love are needed? Pause the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and let me know how I can pray for you. Your story might inspire someone else to grow in their relationships too. 4. Speak truth in love. Jesus never shied away from speaking the truth, but He always did so with love. Ephesians 4:15 calls us to speak the truth in love. This means addressing issues honestly, but with kindness and compassion. Think about how Jesus handled difficult conversations, like with the Samaritan woman at the well, John 4. He confronted her sin, but did so in a way that invited healing and transformation rather than shame. Successful relationships thrive on honest communication. Avoiding the truth to keep the peace often leads to deeper conflicts, while truth spoken in love strengthens trust and mutual respect. When you combine honesty with love, you create an environment where trust can grow and relationships flourish. 5. Be present. In a world full of distractions, Jesus showed us the power of being fully present. Whether He was healing the sick, teaching the crowds, or comforting the brokenhearted, He gave His full attention to the people in front of Him. Think about the story of Zacchaeus in Luke 19. Jesus noticed him, called him by name, and spent time in his home. Successful relationships require presence, not just physically but emotionally and mentally. Being present means truly listening, putting aside distractions and focusing on the person in front of you. Put down your phone, turn off the TV, and engage wholeheartedly. When you're fully present, you communicate value and love to those around you. 6. Serve one another. In John 13:14-15, Jesus washes His disciples' feet and tells them to do the same for others. This act wasn't just about physical cleanliness, it was a profound demonstration of humility and love. Serving is an act of love and humility that strengthens relationships. It's not about grand gestures, it's about small, consistent acts of kindness that show you care. Whether it's making time to listen, helping with a task, or offering encouragement, serving communicates that the other person is valued. When we serve one another, we reflect Jesus' heart and create a foundation of mutual support and love in our relationships. 7. Be slow to anger. Jesus displayed remarkable patience even in the face of betrayal, misunderstanding, and hostility. Think about when he was falsely accused and beaten before his crucifixion. He remained calm and steadfast, never lashing out in anger. James 1:19 reminds us to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Anger, when unchecked, can damage relationships and create barriers that are hard to overcome. Successful relationships require patience and the ability to manage emotions, especially in moments of conflict. Take a deep breath, pray, and respond with grace when tensions rise. By slowing down and approaching situations with love, you can diffuse conflict and build stronger connections. 8. Build on trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any successful relationship, and Jesus demonstrated perfect trust in his relationship with the Father. Trust isn't built overnight, it's earned through consistency, honesty, and reliability. Proverbs 3:5-6 teaches us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Just as we're called to trust God, we are also called to be trustworthy in our relationships. Trust takes time to build but seconds to break. Be reliable, keep your promises, and communicate openly to foster trust. When trust is strong, relationships can withstand trials and grow even deeper. 9. Show grace. Jesus consistently showed grace to those who didn't deserve it. The woman caught in adultery, John 8:1-11, is a powerful example. Instead of condemning her, Jesus offered grace and told her to leave her life of sin. Grace is about extending kindness and understanding even when it's not earned. In relationships, showing grace means forgiving mistakes, overlooking shortcomings, and choosing compassion over judgment. Grace fosters an environment of safety, trust, and growth, allowing relationships to thrive. When you show grace, you reflect God's unconditional love and create space for healing and restoration. 10. Put God at the center. Finally, the most important lesson: successful relationships are built on a foundation of faith. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, "A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken." When God is at the center of your relationships, they become stronger and more resilient. This means inviting Him into every aspect of your life, praying together, studying Scripture, and seeking His guidance in your decisions. When you put God first, you create a spiritual bond that strengthens your connection with others and gives you the tools to navigate challenges. Putting God at the center transforms not only your relationships, but your entire life, grounding everything in His love and grace. In conclusion, these 10 lessons from Jesus are not just principles. They're a roadmap for building relationships that honor God and bring joy to your life. My personal favorite is Lesson 10, Put God at the center, because when He is at the center, everything else falls into place. What about you? Which lesson stood out the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and being part of this community. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use these lessons. Together, let's strive to build relationships that reflect Christ's love and grace. God bless.